Welcome back, everybody. Episode 2 here of the San Diego Padres trade deadline takeover. If you missed episode 1, well, this episode probably won't make much sense to you. But essentially, what I did was I simmed up until the All-Star break without a job, and then I took over the Padres, and I'm allowing myself 4 trades with the Padres to finish out the season as their GM. I can only trade for players on the trade block, and I've also bumped the trading difficulty up 3 notches as well as favors prospects 3 notches from the middle towards that. I've already made 2 trades, and I will show you those in a minute. But the Padres, you can see we've won 3 in a row by shutout. 2-0, 14-0, 2-0. Standings wise, we are 5 back of the Dodgers. We're the second best team in the majors by a 5-game margin. But unfortunately, we're just as far behind the Dodgers. We're up 8 games up on the Phillies, who looks like we'll be playing one team in a 1-game do-or-die playoff where they could magically make up 8 or 10 games in the wild card game. So I have 2 trades left because I've made 2 deals. I will show you those again real quick as a refresher. It would help if I went to the right screen, though. So we're going to go to transactions and to player trade and the trade log. And the first thing we did here was we brought in Lorenzo Cain. And we gave up 1 good reliever, Austin Adams, but we needed help in center field. We needed more outfield depth. Kane fit the bill for both. And then we wanted to bring in a reliever to replace Adams because he was really a back-end guy for us. And even though our pitching is really strong, we want a lot of pitching depth for down the stretch in case we have injuries or postseason games, etc. So we brought in Tyler Rogers from the Giants. And now we've got 2 trades left. And I think I've worked out what they are. But first, one thing that's going to force us to make a trade that I should probably make anyways for more pitching depth is Mackenzie Gore is out only 1 to 2 weeks with dead arm, but I really want to fortify the pitching depth here. Now, we do have a guy like Paddock and Morejon who can come in and start, but so we could go out and get a reliever and let the manager move one of those guys into the rotation, or we can go out and get another starter who could be, have his stuff and effectiveness go up in the pen in short stints. Or I guess what I'm trying to say is I just want to get the best pitcher, and my manager can make the decision if that guy is a starter for us in place of Gore or if he goes in the bullpen. And so we won't need to DFA or option anybody which is good because everybody's been pretty effective except Pierce Johnson, who's just had bad luck. We'll put Gore on the IL. We'll bring in a pitcher. And then the other move is kind of to be determined. I've thought about bringing another outfield bat, but with bringing in Kane, Will Myers is now our 4th outfielder on the bench. We're actually only carrying 4 outfielders right now. So I want to carry a 5th outfielder, but I don't think it's worth going out and adding an impact player at outfield because we already have 4 pretty solid outfielders. And I looked at bringing in Michael Brantley from the Astros, but I just don't. It's going to cost a lot if we can swing it, and I just don't think it's worth the bang for our buck. And the other thing is, if you missed the other episode, we're very limited by our budget. We can't really take on any more money because we're so far over budget. So we have to get basically budget neutral trades, and that makes our life difficult. So just go to the trade block to show you who we're working with, because again, I can only trade for guys on the trade block. We don't need a first baseman. We don't need a shortstop. So that takes a lot of the best hitters out. One name that I wasn't really anticipating going after, but have become interested in, is Buster Posey. And the reason is this: his catcher ability. I believe my catcher's catcher ability are in the 60 to 65 range. And he's having a nice season at the plate, a 115 WRC plus. He's a leader in the locker room. I forgot to turn the personality traits on here I normally do that. And I don't know. I love any upgraded catcher ability. I think that there are other more impactful players I'd love to get if they were a better fit or if they were cheaper or if they addressed a need. And it's not that we need a catcher, but you really never want to turn down a chance to up that catcher ability. And the reason why this might be tempting to us is because basically I think the pitcher I'm going to go after is Eduardo Rodriguez. So reliever-wise, Iglesias, Presley, a couple other guys I've looked at, there's just no there's no price that I can pay for them that makes sense. Andrew Miller was a guy I looked at. I'm gonna have to give up a contributing player off my major league roster, which I don't really want to do. And so I started looking at starters, and I'm gonna go here to stats, the jam stuff, of course. And there's not a lot out there. FIP wise, only I mean, Verlander hasn't pitched this year. Sanchez has a above league average FIP, but he's out for 6 months. And Eduardo Rodriguez is a little above average in terms of FIP, below 100 in FIP minus. And there are other guys out here who are decent. The one guy who really interested me was Matthew Boyd because he's got decent stuff. He's got good control. He's got 4 solid pitches. And his main issue is home runs and lack of movement. And I think in San Diego that would play fine because of the ballpark. But the price, I just can't find a price where they're willing to give him to me without me giving up a pretty impactful player on my major league roster. So I started looking at Eduardo Rodriguez, and I think I can swing the deal for him as well as Posey. Let me show you what those deals are. So first, and this is something that kind of triggered the thought that maybe I should get Posey, is the Red Sox are pretty interested in Victor Caratini, who at this point is on the IL, and he's really like my third catcher. And he's been a little below league average with the bat, which is fine for a catcher, but he's not amazing defensively. So I'm really fine giving him up. And I'm bringing in, and I'm also giving up this guy, Juanya Williams-Sutton, who looks like a 24-year-old outfield prospect who doesn't have a major league future for me. And they're willing to retain the 85%, which is what we need to make this trade budget neutral. Our budget improves by $19,000. And Eduardo's had a fine season, not great. His WAR is 0.9 in 97 innings. His R-WAR is 0.5. You know, a 5.34 ERA, a 4.81 FIP. It's not amazing. He's not striking guys out. But I think this just adds starter depth. And maybe coming over and playing in San Diego, you know, maybe he won't be unhappy anymore, and that can help him because he won't be on the trade block. And maybe playing in a better ballpark in front of a really good defense. I just think this makes a lot of sense because it's basically either Eduardo or a league average reliever. I'd rather have a guy who's around a league average starter and has the capability to do that and then can go to the bullpen and possibly be better than that than a league average reliever. Because all the other guys with my budget situation, I can't work out a deal to get any of those top relievers without giving up a significant player off my roster. So that's why I'm targeting Eduardo. And then if we go and we look at Buster Posey, we can get him by giving up Taylor Williams, who is a depth arm for us in AAA. He's a reliever, league average reliever. And he's been up a little bit for us this year, and he's pitched fine in 4 1/3 inning, and he's pitched fine in 20 1/3 innings. But he's 30 years old. He's in the minors. Totally willing to give him up. Victor Acosta is a guy who, if I was playing a long-term sim, you know, I'd be willing to trade him, but I'd probably want something better than Posey. Because, again, I'd be playing a different way if I was building for future seasons too. But this is a deal I'm totally willing to do. So what I think I'm going to do is pull the trigger on Posey, pull the trigger on Eduardo, and then we're out of trades. So I'm going to do that, and I will show you what this guy will then jump ahead to see what the team looks like here. So I'm going to make these trades, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the season. All right, we are now at August 1st. We've made the deals. I'll show you what the team looks like for the post-trade deadline run. We're 4 games back at the Dodgers. We're 71-37. And I do want to say, if you pick up any background noise in some of these Padres videos and some of my recent videos, we're in a bit of a transition period at PF Holden Studios. So I'm recording somewhere where it's not as noise-proof from noise outside and all that. So bear with me if you're picking that up in some of the recent videos. It's not a forever thing. And so I like when my manager sees the team the same way as me, and they my manager Tinkler put in Posey into the catcher spot after we got him. Of course, Kane became our starting center fielder. We already knew that. Nola transitioned to kind of a backup utility role, which is nice. This is a really deep team now. Austin Nola's having a nice season with a 109 WRC+, and he's our third-string catcher, third-string first baseman, third-string second baseman. And really, I think that's what you need to compete with the Dodgers. Like, if you have injury, the thing about the Dodgers is when they have players go down with injuries, they're like, oh, cool, we'll just call up this other dude. For a while it was like Gavin Lux, who, we'll just call up this guy who would clearly already be a starter on most teams, or we'll just plug in Chris Taylor wherever we need him. Like, that's the thing that really sets the Dodgers apart, is just the depth of their 26-man and 40-man rosters. So that's what I was going here for. And yeah, I pushed good players out of the lineup, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to have an extremely deep team. So Posey's in. He's at catcher. I pulled that trade that I just showed you. And then I brought in Eduardo, and I was wondering if he was going to start Eduardo over some of the other options like Morejon or Paddock, and he did. Eduardo's in as the fifth starter. We'll see what happens when Mackenzie Gore comes back from injury. But this is the team that we will go with for the stretch run. We've got 3 against the Dodgers here in late August, and then we've got 3 on the road against the Dodgers in mid-September, and then we go to LA. Is that for the second to last weekend of the season to close out September? So we've got 9 games against the Dodgers. We're 4 games back. I'd always bet against catching the Dodgers, regardless of who you are. It's a tough thing to do, but I think we can make a run at it. Hopefully we can do it, because it'd be nice not to play in this wild card game, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and see where this team is at the end of the season. All right, so we're at the end of the season now. We did not get the job done, because the Dodgers, man, what can you do? We won 100 games, which was the second best in baseball to the Dodgers, but we were 16 back from the Dodgers. We did hit a little bit of a skid in the second half, mainly because we played 9 games against the Dodgers. So August was a little bit of a bear, but we went 29-25 over the last 3 months, but we went 0-9 in those 9 games against the Dodgers. So we went 29-16 against major league teams who are not the LA Dodgers. But unfortunately, the reality of it is they're in our division, and we needed to beat them, and we didn't. We did make the wild card. We're playing the Braves. We finished 9.5 up. Well, that's strange. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, I guess maybe they played a tiebreaker game, it looks like, against the Phillies. Interesting. I just noticed that. Okay. So just in terms of how our trade deadline guys did, Lorenzo Cain just absolutely killed it. 2.7 WAR in a nice 69 games, a 134 WRC plus. Posey's offense did not hold up. He only has 68 WRC plus, 83 OPS plus. He did put up 0.2 WAR in the 44 games, which is not much, but that catcher ability probably helped our pitching some. Pitching side of things, Eduardo was in and out. He was in the rotation some. He made 4 starts, but when Mackenzie Gore was back, he was out of the rotation in the bullpen, but he's really good. I mean, a 3.40 ERA and a 3.81 FIP in 42 innings for us. And Tyler Rogers was also, pitched 28 innings, but he put up a 3.86 ERA, 3.90 FIP. Both better, about 10% better than league average. And the pitching depth paid off because Paddock, who was one of our setup guys, went out with an injury. And Pomeranz is out with an injury right now. He'll miss he's day-to-day, but he's got a substantial effect. So we'll see if he plays in the wild card game. In terms of pitching, Snell led the way with 4.2 WAR. On the lineup side of things, Fernando Tatis, a 10.3 WAR season. Manny put up 6.3. So pretty nice from the 2 leaders on the offensive side of the ball. And so I think what I'm going to do now is let's just simulate this game. Let's get to the day, and let's just see what we do here. We'll see if we can get by the Braves. We did. All right, we got by the Braves. So we won 5-2. Kim hit a home run. Pham hit a home run. Dinelson Lamet went 5 innings for us, was strong, and then the bullpen shut the door. Pomeranz actually pitched. They used him with that ankle injury, and Gore ended up closing it out, getting the final out. Okay, so now I think we're on to face the Dodgers, I think. Yeah, we start against the Dodgers now. No rest here. So we're going we have Walker Buehler in game 1. And let's see who's pitching for us in the series. We got Darvish, Snell, and then Darvish back again. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't think they're going to pitch him on 2 days rest. But all right. And let's see what we can do against the Dodgers. Game 1 in LA. Pomeranz's recovery is unclear. But the good news is we knocked off the Dodgers in game 1. We won 6-4. Let's see how we did it. Pham had a 2-run double. Grisham had a couple of hits. He had a home run. His bat woke up for the postseason. Kim had a couple hits. Machado and Tatis went a combined 1 for 9. And wow, Darvish only went 3 2/3, 4 hits, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 86 pitches. And then we went to the pen. Pomeranz, I don't know. We'll see if they're going to continue to use him. But he pitched the final 2 innings and shut him down. We got to Buehler for 4 runs over 4 innings. Let's go up 2-0 on him here. All right, so we lost that one 8-3. Machado hit a solo homer, and Grisham had another homer. Wow, he had a rough regular season, but he's coming alive here. Snell did not pitch very well. 5 innings and 5 runs in 4 innings. Musgrove and Kella were not great either. And all right, so now we get to come home to the city of San Diego, and let's try to win a couple of these. Go on to the next round. Oh my gosh, we're up 2-1. We won 7-0. Did Nelson Lamet? What did he do? 6 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 8 Ks, and then Rogers and Rodriguez, our MVP guy, our not MVP, our trade deadline guys coming in for mop-up duty. Good to see. Good to see. Machado went yard. He went 2 for 4. Kane went deep. Tatis only hitting 118 so far in the postseason, and he hasn't gone yard yet. He went 1 for 4. All right, let's finish these guys off. Let's do it. All right, so we're going to a game 5. Of course we are. And let's see. Hosmer went yard in this game. That was our only run. Gore went 5 pretty strong innings, fine. Pagan pitched three innings, no hit ball. He walked a guy. And Morejon went an inning and gave up a run. All right, so they're going to have Buehler on the mound. And I'm imagining it's going to be, Darvish for us. So Darvish versus Buehler, game 5. Let's see. Oh, we lost. All right, we lost 3-2. We went down 2-0 in the third, and then we were down 3-1, 3-2, so we never led in the game. Tatis, Machado, disappointing. I mean, Machado was all right. Tatis definitely a disappointing postseason. Darvish went 4 1/3. Musgrove, Melanson. Buehler really pitched. We had some base runners, and we had 9 base runners in 6 1/3, but only 2 runs, 1 earned. So that's that's the end of the Padres season. But we'll see who won the World Series and then do a final thoughts recap. But kind of, I guess about what I expected, right? If I had to put money on an outcome, it would have been making the wild card and losing to the Dodgers in the ALDS, because that's just the way it goes as the Padres, regardless of how much you load up when you're playing the Dodgers. All right, so let's see how the rest of this postseason turns out. So I would say shout out to the St. Louis Cardinals for knocking off the Dodgers, but I don't really like the Cardinals. I like the Dodgers better, but I guess the Cardinals just weren't making excuses like those boys in San Diego that couldn't slay the beast. But the Cardinals beat the Dodgers in 4 and then went on and won the World Series, beating the Blue Jays in 6. Pretty jealous of the fact that they brought in Kevin Gausman at the deadline. He was one of the guys that I was kind of interested in, and actually, I think I said before, one of my favorite pitchers in the majors as an Orioles fan. Watching him come up, I really enjoyed watching him pitch. So I'm jealous that they got him. It doesn't really look like they've made many other moves. Their lineup is good, just like in real life. Goldschmidt, if Carlson blossoms, Arenado, that's a pretty good 3. Middle of the order, and Edman is a pretty solid player, man. And so the Cardinals won it, 90 wins in the regular season, and they go on to win the World Series. What was their run differential? Oh, okay, plus 85. They're right on at 90. So the Cardinals knocked off the 116-win Dodgers with the plus 362 run differential. And, this was fun, though. It was a lot of fun with the budget constraints of the Padres, and also only allowing myself to trade for 4 guys who were all on the trade block. It was really interesting and challenging. I'm going to try it with some other teams. And that's all for this one, though. So long from the 100-win but ALDS eliminated San Diego Padres.